Hi, my name is Sanjin. I'm a manager in the San Francisco office, and I've been here for about 5 years now. I started as a summer associate, which is an internship between the first and the second year of the MBA program. Before Bain, actually, I was a computer engineer here in the Silicon Valley, which was a childhood dream of mine, growing up in Croatia. Over the last year and a half, a lot of the projects in tech I ended up being associated with or leading were around first advanced analytics and then more recently around machine learning. And as part of some of the market research I was doing, I got really curious about the problem and very quickly got convinced that really machine learning is a technology that's going to be at the core of what I would like to call a fourth industrial revolution. And I wanted to be at the core of it. So what I ended up doing is I have decided to kind of specialize working on cases where we're helping our clients first figure out where is machine learning and AI most applicable, but then how do they actually implement it in such a way they get value from it. From the idea to the data engineering, the data science, but also the delivery, and making sure that the behaviors are changing so that there's actually some impact that comes off of it. So the most interesting part is once I decided to spend more of my time doing what we call our advanced analytics practice, is very quickly realizing just how many different problems we have solved in this area. For example, one of the things we've solved is trying to figure out how frequently will different equipment fail by looking at terabytes and terabytes of data over many, many, many years and being able to improve for our clients the precision with which they can forecast which particular type of equipment will fail and then replacing it ahead of time. Or alternatively, we created a Netflix-style movie recommender, but not to be used in that particular capacity, but to help our client know which two types of movies they should try to sell together in a DVD package. And the list of examples that we've done just goes on and on and on. It's really fascinating. I think that's always the most interesting part is talking to our alumni who have left, and here in the Bay Area, most of them leave for startups. And all of them say like, wow, the time in Bain was really invaluable because my ability to structure the problem quickly, zone in on the three of the most important things, and then be able to go really deep on those three things is really a differentiator in how I'm able to bring value to the startups. And it's funny because oftentimes when they're going through the recruiting process, startups are a little bit hesitant, thinking like, ooh, startups are a very unstructured environment. And they have to tell them, well, actually consulting is also very unstructured. Our clients come to us with one big hairy problem, and it's our job to actually unpack it and figure out like what are the areas that you really, really need to know the answer to make the right decision. So an interesting thing about staffing is when I was an SA, you get a call about 2 months before you start, and they say, hey, what are you kind of hoping to get out of the summer? Like what kind of industry, what kind of function? And I said, no, none of that matters. I think three things matter. One, I'd like to be in a case from beginning to end, because my understanding is a lot of really cool thinking happens on both ends. Two, I want to be on a case that uses as much of the Bain toolkit as possible. And then three, ideally, I would like to be on a really tough case because I don't want to have a Goldilocks experience and then come back and find out that reality is different. And they said, oh, great, maybe you would like to try private equity. I'm like, no, thank you. I've talked to enough people. I know private equity is pretty hard for somebody who wasn't a consultant before. I'd like to do something different. And then, of course, I came back and I was tapped into private equity. But turns out it was actually the only case that could fulfill the three things I asked for. Over the course of 10 weeks, I did 3 or 4 deals from beginning to end. One was in semiconductor equipment, one was in fashion, one was in magazines. So as far as the toolkit, the entire thing, from surveys to interviews to modeling, it all happened there. And then 3, it's private equity. You have 3 weeks to solve the problem. So as far as it being tough, certainly ticks that box. And I'm glad I did it. I learned so much.